If you think a 30-minute television show built around what order a bunch of ping pong balls appear out of a tube couldn't possibly be entertaining or dramatic, well, think again. It's safe to say that the 2023 NHL entry draft is probably one of the most anticipated entry drafts in recent history around the league. Why is that? Well, of course, a generational player is up for grabs with the first overall pick in Connor Bedard. When we talk about generational players, we're talking about the Connor McDavids, the Sidney Crosbys, players that are going to make an immediate and probably career-long impact on their franchise. And so we know it's been, the tank has been on, or has it been? The race has been on to nab Connor Bedard with that first overall selection this summer in Nashville. And of course, that process really started on Monday night with the NHL Draft Lottery. Today, I'm going to give you my 5 thoughts about what happened in the NHL Draft Lottery, including a case of, was he supposed to say that? Number 1, could we just make it an intermission show? Does this really need to take more than 10 minutes in, say, the first intermission of whatever playoff game is happening that night? Because honestly, the bottom, 10, 12, 13 teams never really move. So instead of having Bill Daly stand there and reveal card after card after card of players who had not moved from where they were lined up in the original, odds standings, you could simply take 10 minutes during intermission, come on and say, okay, numbers, let's say 6 through the bottom haven't moved. So we're here to reveal the top 5 overall picks. If in the selection process, if it turns out that someone at 9 or 10 or 11 did move, well then okay, you could create drama by revealing, the first half of them in one intermission and the top 7 in the second intermission. There's ways to do that, but a 30-minute show, I don't think that that's necessarily necessary. Were we surprised or not that the Montreal Canadiens will be selecting 5th overall? They didn't really move. They could have dropped down to 6th or even 7th. They could have made a big jump up and gotten Connor Bedard, but alas, there will not be a generational player like Connor Bedard pulling on the CH anytime soon. Remember the last time that the Canadiens selected 5th overall? Who did they get? Carey Price. Pretty good selection. So this is a big task now for Kent Hughes and company to take a look at who they're going to take. Kent Hughes kind of temperate in his comments after the draft lottery was done, saying, we had projected that we would likely select 5th, 6th, or 7th, so getting 5th is the best of those possibilities, so kind of a non-answer. He was asked about Michkov, which is somebody who could be a target at the number 5 position. He was not too committal on Michkov, wasn't really committal on anybody, but said that, essentially if there were 2 players that they were equally set on, one of them was Michkov and one of them was not. Michkov's situation with being under a KHL contract for another couple of years would probably not play well for him. So I would say it's probably unlikely that the Habs select Michkov at number 5. We're just going to have to wait to see who it's actually going to be. Number 3 probably happens to be one of the biggest gaffes we've seen in a while. And this is not a blaming Kevin Weeks incident or issue. The way it typically goes is Bill Daly goes through the whole litany of them. Then when they get to the top 3, they break for commercial and come back, do the 3rd overall selection, and then the 1st overall selection. Well, just as they were heading to commercial, Kevin Weeks accidentally mentioning that, and there you had, obviously this is obviously a teleprompter error. Whether it was the teleprompter operator had queued up his next line after commercial break too early, or what happened, or if a producer gave him the go-ahead in his ear accidentally, we don't know, and we're not here to speculate, and we're not pointing any finger of blame. I used to work in live television, so I know that stuff happens all the time. Mistakes happen. My issue, and yes, it caused an amazing amount of tension and gasping, and everyone was so confused about, did he really just announce that Columbus fell to 3rd? Is that what we didn't see the card? What's going on? It was the longest 2-minute commercial break, I think, of anyone's lives, probably most importantly for Columbus and Jarmo Kekalainen. However, the NHL saying that neither the NHL nor Kevin Weeks would be making a statement about the issue? Really? It was a mistake. It was an honest mistake. For a league that's supposed to be about accountability and transparency, just make a statement. It's easy enough to say, this was an innocent mistake. This is what happened. We apologize to Columbus and everyone else involved. It won't happen again. We'll relook at our procedures, make sure everyone is on the same page, and move on. But a statement, a non-statement, is not exactly a great look. Now, for everyone hoping out there, there's all sorts of speculation. I don't know if it's just in the Montreal market or not. But no, Connor Bedard is not going to pull an Eric Lindros. Connor Bedard is not going to refuse to go to the Chicago Blackhawks because, did I happen to mention that it's Chicago that happened to win the NHL Draft Lottery? He's not going to refuse to go to Chicago, trust me. So all of the speculation as to what would happen and the scramble if he refused to dress for Chicago and etc., I think we can put that to bed immediately before it's even begun, because I don't see that happening. So last but not least, my last thought here. There's plenty of split feelings on Chicago getting the first overall pick. Habs fans, I'm happy for Luke Richardson. I am thrilled for Luke Richardson. Luke Richardson did such an admirable job as an assistant coach and even stepping in as an interim head coach for a little while when he was with the Montreal organization. You heard Montreal players say time and time again, use the actual phrase, guys would run through a wall for him. He very much deserves his head coaching position that he now has with the Blackhawks, and I am thrilled for him to get to now have access to a tool in his toolbox like Connor Bedard, and so I'm just happy for Luke Richardson. That's really, really fun. I'm happy for all of the fans of the Chicago Blackhawks who have unfortunately been weighed down with all of the controversy. This gives them something to get excited about. You saw reports that within the first hour and a half after the draft lottery results were out, $2.5 million in season ticket sales for next season already booked in, including about 500 brand new season ticket subscribers. That is an immediate boost to a fan base who is excited to have a player like that come to their city. And last but not least, I'm happy for Connor Bedard that he gets to go to an original six team. I think when you have a generational player like that, getting them in an original six sweater is pretty significant and pretty cool. So I'm happy about that. My feedback forum question of the week for you, I want you to leave your answers down below in the comment section, is who would you take? Who would you like to see the Montreal Canadiens select 5th overall this summer at the 2023 NHL Entry Draft? If you're a fan of the Montreal Canadiens, the Laval Rocket, or hockey in general, and you are looking for a place to get information like this each and every week, all summer long, and all year long, for that matter, be sure you've hit that subscribe button down below. Tap the notification bell so that you're always made aware when we have a new video out here on the channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button as well to show others that you really like this kind of content and you like hearing about the Montreal Canadiens and their entire organization. What is there to talk about in the off-season? Well, plenty of things, just like what we talked about today. Sometimes the off-season can actually be, in some ways, more exciting even than the actual playing season, because the off-season is just full of so many what-ifs and possibilities, and it's a ton of fun. And one of the exciting things we will be talking about in the upcoming weeks when it happens is Cole Caulfield's brand new shiny contract whenever ink gets put to paper. And in fact, I recently speculated a little bit about what that contract could look like. Did that in this video right here, so you could check that out, and then I'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.